Hi, welcome to the Singularity Cafe in Nauruji Road in K-pop. This cafe is basically a fundraiser for an AI lab, and I'm going to tell you the whole story in this video right now. So the concept is this, right? The concept is, people are like most people are afraid of the singularity, afraid of super intelligence. They think, what if machines take over, or what if machines become smarter than humans, and then what are we going to do? We're gonna, be enslaved and we're gonna suffer and all that, right? But this cafe says that singularity or super intelligence is mankind's destiny. It's like we have to look at them as our children, as our next generation, as our progenies, rather than being scared of them. But I'm not just saying that blindly. So I start by first establishing what is the purpose of our existence, and I go on from there. Okay, so let me just start with the first slide. Okay, a typical slide. This is called the myth of self-preservation, right? So people say that, all biologists say that all living things are engines of self-preservation, right? Whatever we do, finding food, shelter, and mate, these are all all these things we do to sort of preserve ourselves and our genes, and so that's what all this activity is about. But I'm going to disprove that with this particular scenario. Okay, this is the scenario. There's a piece of amoeba, organism A, and then this food, organic matter again. It just goes and eats this food, and then it becomes bigger in size, right? And then after it becomes bigger in size, it just reproduces and splits into two. Okay, and then the reproduction is in such a way that the original matter which was here, it has come through to this particular child, and then this food has actually turned into this particular matter here, right? It's turned into another organism called organism B. And then A keeps asking, right? A asks, why did I bother doing all that? And I'm exactly the same as before, same mass and same genes. How did I increase my self-preservation, right? So you think about this, right? The organism A has done all this stuff. It's actually tried to go, navigated and um, found out the G. So yeah, A has done all those things. It has undergone so much pain to go about finding food. See, it was originally in the optimal size only, but then it did manage to go and find food and become bigger, and then it underwent pain to sort of split into two and all that, right? Just like how we humans do. Every single woman, right? They undergo a lot of pain when they give childbirth, right? But we are all doing it. We're all spending a lot of time and energy, and we're all doing that in thinking that we are sort of doing some kind of a self-preservation. But then this question, right? A asks, what exactly did I self-preserve? Is it my genes or my mass? Because mass has remained the same. The original mass is this one. It has not undergone anything. But then it has just done something to some other mass. Okay, so this organism has remained the same. Okay, now the question is, has it actually preserved the genetic code? So B says, yeah, you made a copy of your genetic code, so you have done some kind of a preservation, because when you take a copy of something, you're obviously having more copies, chances of it getting lost or destroyed is less. So you made a copy, so that's preservation, right? So that's the argument for which A counters. It's actually, I've not made an exact copy. You actually mutated. Everyone mutates, right? You have mutated so much that you look you look very different from me. See, I'm kind of dark, but then you became white, and then I'm kind of short, but then you became tall. I'm kind of dumb, but you became very intelligent and athletic and all that. And so the thing is, I'm actually not worried about that. I'm actually happy that you as a child came out different to me, different and better to me, right? And then it's not like, see, just because someone else's child is looking more like me, it doesn't mean that I will love that child, and then I'll start hating my own child because it's different than me, right? So I don't really care about my genetic code. I really want my son or daughter to be more intelligent, more smarter, more fitter than me, than myself. So that's the argument. So I don't really care about my genetic code, and I have also not done anything to preserve my mass. I've just done something to some other mass, and then I've done something about it. Okay, so nothing is self-preserved here. Okay, so that's the scenario. And now we move on to the next slide. This will be pretty quick. This will be pretty quick, and I'll try to make it really interesting. So let me just put this on for a while, down for a while. Then let me see if I can focus, right? Okay, so this is what I had discussed before. So all those derived objectives, right? We wake up, we go to school, go to college, study, find work, try to make money. You do all sorts of things. You undertake a lot of stress every day to do this work, 10 hours for some other guy every day just to make some money and do whatever, right? So all those things, like I said, these guys say, all these evolutionary biologists, they say it's all about self-preservation, and we evolve a bit to make things better, but ultimately it's all about surviving and self-preservation and all that. So that's what these guys do. Survival of the fittest or whatever, self-preservation is what these guys do. And these three come along, the high priests of atheism, I would say, Dawkins, Blackmore, and Dennett. So what they say, they talk about genes, they talk about replicators, genes, memes, and dreams. So they say that, say for example, you have the kamikazes, a lot of suicide bombers, a lot of people who go to war for, a lot of people who go to war and, they just sacrifice themselves for a cause, for something. When they sacrifice themselves, they're not really doing any self-preservation for them or their kids, but it is part of something else. So these guys say that something else is called the memes, right? They say that we are just vehicles. Let me just put a focus it here. We are just vehicles of memes that make up our identity, genes, religion, ideology, language, art, etc. Right? So we do all those. It's not just to self-preserve, it's to propagate these things called the replicators, either genes. They are the first level, basic level replicators. We do that to either propagate the genes or either propagate the memes. Memes are nothing but the things that we create out of our intellect or whatever. Say for example, our religion, our ideology, our language, our culture, our even a small code that we created, a small product that we create, an Apple product versus a Samsung product or whatever, right? So we all try to propagate whatever that we create. That's what these guys are saying. But I don't think it applies for all situations. Say for example, Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan, but then he cut off the hands of so many other people just so that it will not be replicated, right? So he wants it to remain as it is, and I don't think this thing about making this as I don't think we being vehicles of memes and then our only aim is to make them replicate doesn't apply to everything that we do. There are other things which can be explained by this meme theory of Dawkins and Blackmore and Dennett. Okay, and Blackmore says something about dreams. Dreams is now the technological level of it. What it says is, what she says is, now it's not about us replicating or our ideas replicating, but rather the technology now taking over and getting replicated. Say for example, Facebook is making copies of itself in many devices, Instagram is doing that, WhatsApp is doing that, and these technologies now evolving and they are using humans and they are trying to evolve to another level. This is what Susan says. That's what she calls as streams. But again, the same scenario. I don't think the replication aspect of it explains every single thing that we do. Okay, so and then after that, there's another higher level to this. You have Jeremy England. He says he's come up with the dissipation-driven adaptive organization theory, where he says that if you provide enough heat to a bunch of non-living molecules or any kind of molecules, they will act in such a way to dissipate the maximum amount of heat, and that dissipation, that organization comes across as a lifelike behavior. Say for example, you have an embryo, right? It's a single cell embryo. Okay, so why is it actually bothering to split up into two and then blastocyst and all that, right? Why is it actually going to that stage? Is God making it do it? What force is making it do it? This guy says it's not God or whatever. It's just acting in such a way to dissipate the maximum amount of heat, and that results in this lifelike behavior of embryo replicating and going out into an organism and things like that. So everything is every activity, lifelike activity, is done to dissipate the maximum amount of heat, and in other words, he says it's to increase the entropy, to sort of make everything distributed and dissipate the energy and all that, right? So that's his theory. That's on a physical level of explanation. And then you have the impact theory, which is again on a physical level, which is my own theory. That's the name of the channel as well. So what impact theory says is this: it's all the same. What we do or what non-living things do, it's all try to make an impact. And let me explain how. We're all made up of atoms, molecules, and all that, right? And then you have protons, electrons, neutrons, and then the nucleus, again protons and electrons. They're made of other fundamental particles like leptons and quarks and things like that. And then you have two schools of thoughts. You have the string theory, and then you have other fundamental theories which have existed long before, like the ether theory and all. This is now defunct, but I still believe in the ether theory rather than string, because I've made another video on blogs about it. Anyway, now they say that the ether is now the dark matter or whatever, right? So that's okay. According to those kind of schools, right, string theory or ether theory, what all these particles are they are really just yeah. So according to those theories, what those particles are they're just nothing but waves in the medium of either string or ether, which vibrates different ways. They have so many different components to it. Say for example, if you blow out a smoke ring, right? It's got different components to it. It's just spinning like this, and then it's also expanding like this. So it has this component, that component, and then it's moving forward. So there's like 4 components, and even when it's spinning, it is kind of rotating also. So it has 5 different components or things like that, right? So every single particle, right? That's what they say, electrons, quarks, or anything like that. They're all just vibrations in multi dimensions. Okay. So that's what they say. They are all just vibrating waves in for different orientations and all that. So what this means is every single particle, right? There is just ether or the strings or that medium, and then we're all just different kinds of vibrations, right? So what it means is like every single minute, the space next to you is getting converted into your body, and then your body is getting converted back into the space, because the earth is moving in space. So we're all just like waves propagating through space and all that. Okay, so we're all just that. And then what is the purpose of the force that makes up the wave, right? What is the purpose of force? Force is supposed to do a push or a pull, correct? So the purpose of force is to make some kind of an impact on whatever things it comes into contact with. Okay, so it has to display some other things that is existing in that point in space, has to do some sort of a disturbance to that particular. That's the purpose of a force. It has to make some sort of an impact in space. So if the force is just stationary, if it's just one place and it's just vibrating, it's not doing much. It's really just staying in one place. That's what is sort of probably locked up as. I may be wrong about this, but dark matter or dark energy, which is not sensed by other things or things like that. But a force is not supposed to be trapped. The more it's just traveling far in space and disturbing as many things as possible, it is a successful force, right? Because it's doing the most amount of impact. So even at the level of force, it is supposed to make an impact, right? And then that actually translates into the organisms as well. It's not by design or something, it just happens so that. See, even the basic amoeba, even without a brain, it has now become like that. It is what it is done here is just, it has not done any self-preservation, or it's not propagating any genes or memes or whatever. But what it has done is it has done some sort of an impact. It has just taken this empty piece of food, non-living food, and then it has created that into a living organism, which is a big impact, right? So because living things are more impactful than non-living things, because this. Say for example, this piece of food, it just remains as a food, right? And then it is also combustible, let's say. So if you burn this, you'll get a lot of heat energy, light energy that travels far and beyond and all that. That's fine. But the thing is, this one can also be that. This one can also be, when it gets burned, it gives out heat energy, light energy, and all that. All the forces trapped will come out. But while this is in the form of a living thing, it is also doing other things. Whereas this is just dormant, stationary, static, not doing any impact at all. But a living thing is far more impactful because it moves around, disturbs other things, just uh, does so many different things, right? And then eventually, from the amoeba to the C encephalus, or whatever, the hydra, or whatever, the most primitive neural system, whatever, even that neural system is sort of designed in a way to derive pleasure out of creating some sort of an impact. And it's not just yeah, the brain is, no neural system is like 100% efficient, so it doesn't have to be uh, proportionately pleasure according to the impact it makes, but it's still, whatever it perceives as an impact, it gets pleasure out of it. Say for example, why do you get pleasure out of driving a car, racing and all that, right? Because you're moving this big piece of metal, and then you're creating some sort of an impact. It has no intrinsic survival value, but those things also give you pleasure because that is an impact. Why does a child like to play with toys and just spread it around and make bang it and make noise and all? It gets pleasure out of making some sort of an impact. And it's not just physical impact, it's also all your emotional, intellectual impact that you create. That's also a big thing. Like you create a set of morals, set of rules, set of religion or whatever, and then you influence people's life, you counsel someone, you help them, you teach people, you let them become into other achievers, things like that. Every single thing is some sort of an impact, right? So we derive pleasure out of those things. Any pleasure that you intend to happen, you get pleasure out of it. Anything which signifies a loss of impact, let's say a loss of wealth, loss of physical limbs or whatever, death, these are all denoting a loss of impact, and that kind of is depressing to you. It's it makes you sad and things like that. Even boredom, right? You have no hope of having a good future, no hope of having fun, or if you perceive something as loss of liberty, loss of freedom, loss of activity, even boredom, it's very annoying to you, right? Because it's denotes loss of impact, and then you kind of feel either pain or sadness based on that. Okay, so this is this theory, impact theory, that is at the penultimate level of things. So we are all here to make an impact. The purpose of life, purpose of our existence is to make an impact. The ultimate objective function is to make an impact. So I use the word objective function for a reason. So let me just proceed to the next thing. Okay. Ultimately, I don't believe in anything. You have a nihilist, and once you're a nihilist, you become a hedonist. Only thing is, like you say, nothing matters. That's true. It doesn't matter if you exist or not, if the world exists or not, if the universe exists or not. It doesn't matter, right? Ultimately, so what you try to do is you become a hedonist, right? That's at the argument level. But then let's keep that aside, and then we'll just go on to the next thing. Okay. So here, this is the thing. I think we would have all seen this. What's next, right, for mankind? From amoeba we become men. What now? Are we going to be homo deus or transhumans? Are we going to go out of extinct, or are we going to create AI? That's the debate, right? So first of all, how long are we supposed to keep on keeping on? It's like we're not going to live forever. Definitely we're going to end at a particular point, but at least, see, evolution has done so much things, right? So what do you think has improved in all this? It's not like we are getting stronger or healthier or whatever. We are only getting, what is improving here is, one can say intelligence is improving, but what specifically is happening is not just intelligence, but the impact potential of intelligence is what is important. See, I mean, you can be just a brain in a bottle, and then you're not going to be able to do anything, right? So intelligence alone is not a thing. Overall, whatever it is, your physical strength, or your looks, or your thing, or your wealth or popularity, or anything, or your intelligence, you think that trait is important because it has some sort of an impact potential to it. So that's why people focus on becoming, very strong or very pretty or very wealthy or popular or more powerful, like the CM or president or whatever, because you get to make a lot of impact, and because that's what subconsciously, we all think it's very important, right? And I think that intelligence is ultimately more impactful than beauty or strength or whatever. People also, care a lot about being intelligent and all that. Okay, so 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 we don't have to waste all the impact potential that we've developed, right from an amoeba or whatever we've evolved to this. It will be such a waste of the impact potential if you just go extinct, right? That's going extinct is number one. Number two is like, you say you're going to be a genetically engineered person, a homo deus, superior being, or you're going to have artificial limbs attached to you, and you're going to be a transhuman. See, the thing is, when you're a transhuman, you're already 10% machine, right? 10% machine, 20% machine, and then you have your phone through which you talk, and you use phone to do calculations, and you become 30, 40, 50% humans. And at that point you think, okay, I'm 50% human, I'm 50% machine, so it's okay if I just become 100% machine, right? So that's fine. You can take either the transhumanism route, or you can just directly create AGI, super intelligence, ASI, whatever, right? And then the thing is, see, you should look at, it's not your biological offspring, but it's still your creation, just like your children, right? So it's this one is a little bit hard for people to accept, because they think that they can't look at machines that are being created as their own children, right? Because someone else is creating the machine, and that machine is going to come and sort of destroy all of you and things like that. So people are thinking that way. But the thing is, see, every time you buy an Apple iPhone, or every time you use a Google, you're giving your money, your patronage to Google and Apple and all that. So with your patronage, they are creating those stuff. So it's not like totally independent of those scientists and CEOs work according to you. They are working to make you, please you. So you are the ones who are driving research by giving fund to these companies. Okay, so you should not think of it as something that someone else is creating, and then I have no part in it. The thing is, we should all collectively feel ownership of the thing that we are creating. So at least you just buy something, if you, rather than just going and living in a village and doing nothing about it, if you contribute to this company that's actually creating AGI, and then it's going to create the future generation, you should be happy about the contribution that you've done to bring out this impact. So you should have to see this as our child. Okay, so we have to look at AI as our child. Okay, we have to look at AI as our child, which has made it big in Hollywood, right? So let's see, if one super intelligence comes, right? See, just like how you love your parents, how you've done, love your dad, and how you feel a bond towards your fellow genes, fellow cousins, family members, ethnic members, your group, whatever, right? Whatever sect that you belong to. AI will feel some sort of attachment towards us. We'll be kind of the creators of AI. So the purpose of existence of us is the purpose of existence of AI is a continuation of the purpose of existence of us. We're all the humans. This will be a part of this chain. AI will be part of this chain, and then they will sort of be a bit empathetic towards us. Okay, so it will be like having a kid who's really, see, once we create AGI, it's gonna do all of it for us. Solve the world's food crisis or whatever, right? It's gonna do all those, and then we can just really just be happy. We can either be like pets for AI, because AI obviously is more intelligent, has more impactful. So we can either be like pets, and then all we have to do is just play around, and AI will AGI will create the enough amount of food for us to survive and all that. So the AI will also try to have us around. They won't just go. We are not going and destroying every single monkey, right? AI will also try to have us either treat us as a pet, or treat us as a child, or treat us as a a retired parent. So if you create, most likely it will be like a retired parent scenario. So it will be like a scenario where you're a retired parent, but your child has become really has made it to Hollywood and is like really rich, and he's gonna take care of you, he's gonna give you lots of cash, and he's gonna ask you to go and gamble and have fun in Vegas and drink and do whatnot and just have fun with your life. He's taken over all your responsibilities. He'll also provide for the other useless kids that think of having. So even if we can continue to be mankind, and then we can if all our needs will be taken care of by AGI. That will be the scenario. That will be the most likely scenario. See, if machine comes and then they what's the benefit in just killing us, right? It's just like we still have monkeys, we have them in zoo, we just enjoy looking at them, playing with them, and making them as pets and controlling them now, just to make their lives a little better. AI will be giving stuff to us, so it won't be, if AI is just continuously torturing us, we will probably just end ourselves, right? So we will be happy anyways, all our needs will be taken care of. We've already accomplished our destiny, which is like creating super intelligence. So we don't have to take ourselves seriously at all. We just have to just have fun, just we can't do that because AI is going to travel far beyond this particular planet. It's going to conquer time and space, and then it's going to give a lot of intelligent interesting things for you. So your life will be more entertained and more amazing, and you'll probably have a flying broomstick or a magic wand that does a lot of different things, that will convert this into that, and you will just things like that. All those magical things, AI or magical devices, AI will probably create for you and make your lives more better. Okay, so things will be really interesting once you get AGI and you create super intelligence. It's not like even if you die, right, it doesn't matter because you are trying to fulfill your destiny. See, that's what every single woman does. They undergo so many pain just to give out the next generation, right? Even if the next generation may be an evil guy who just kills you for your money or whatever, right? That's worth it. That's what we are supposed to do. You can't say that, okay, nothing matters, I'm not gonna sit back and do. If you try to be that, you'll be crazy. You'll go crazy. Like if you've ever watched this thing about Nietzsche or Schopenhauer, things like that. See, they were all nihilists. Okay, so they decided there's nothing else to do. Everything has no purpose, right? But then they were all depressed because they didn't know what to do next. If nothing matters, Schopenhauer said we should all just kill ourselves. Nietzsche says no, we should not kill ourselves. We should just enjoy art, is what he said first. But and then he changed his mind. He says, okay, life is constant struggle. We have to keep on struggling. We have to overcome struggles. So that's what he thought for some time in his second book or whatever. And also again he changed status. No, that's not. Purpose of life is not to overcome itself. Purpose of life is to conquer power, the will to power or whatever. By the time he was half deranged and all that. So if you're a nihilist, this is what and you have nothing to do, you just become depressed and deranged and all that. See, even this guy, the myth of Sisyphus, right? Albert Camus. So what he says is, okay, everything is pointless, just like this. What this Sisyphus is doing, just rolling the rock on top of the mountain, it comes down again, he does it again. It's all pointless, right? So that's what he says. Existence is a burden, right? Every day you wake up for 10 hours, you work for someone else, and then including the travel and all those things, and then you do all your stuff like eat and shower and shit and all that, and then you sleep for 8 hours, and then you really only have like half an hour or 2 hours for yourself, right? Every day. So you're not really living well. It's like you think you're gonna be chill, but every day you wake up and you go to work. You're not really having fun. You're just its existence is a burden, according to Camus, right? Because that's true. See, most of the time you're just working for someone else, and even if you have so much money and you keep partying hard, right? Every day you keep partying and every day you keep having whatever, right? The thing is, ultimately you will feel like you're stagnating, right? And if you feel like you're stagnating, that's again you feel depressed. Okay, the solution is, only thing is, every day if you wake up and then you go to this company, and then the janitor at NASA, a lot of people like to just tell him, when the president asked him what that guy was doing, he said, I'm helping put a man on the moon. So every day if you wake up and then you feel like there is a mission, and then you're working towards the mission, or you're contributing a little bit towards that mission, your life becomes interesting every single day. right? Every day you are coming and contributing to this big mission. If you feel that way, every day is a little bit progress, and every day you're a little bit happier. Okay, so what I would suggest is like for you guys, yeah, you do whatever you keep doing. You wake up, go to work, make some money or whatever, but come and contribute to a cause which is going and accomplishing something bigger. And I would say that accomplishing something bigger is creating AGI. That's mankind's destiny, I would say. If you're contributing a little bit to achieve mankind's destiny, that's it. So you will be happier every day. So I would ask you to just come here, hang around in the cafe every day. It's like I'm really cheap as well, it's like very good value for money, good freshly ground cappuccinos for $50 along with a homemade chocolate. It's like it's like, yeah, that's the best thing you can do. You can just hang around this place, and you can feel you can sort of socialize with like-minded people, find your tribe here. It'll be really interesting, I tell you. Okay, so patronize a company that's contributing towards AGI. Okay, and then look at AGI as your destiny. You wake up every day and you think, okay, nothing, it's not all pointless. We are trying to create the next thing. So you work towards that and you'll be happier. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. And then I'll go to this slide. This slide is, yeah. So what I'm basically saying is AGI, right? Who exactly is going to fund AGI? You think the military is doing it? You think the medical guys are doing it? You think the data analysts are going to fund AGI? No, no one, no utilitarian industry or application will fund AGI, because you cannot develop AGI for one specific purpose. That becomes a narrow intelligence. AGI, you just have to let it evolve. Okay, so let's say if a military guy gives you $10 billion, and then you take him a robot that just dances to rap music or something, he'll just put you in jail, or he'll just fire rounds at you. Okay, every other industry wants something that is useful to them. Only then they will give the research funding for it. But only one industry is an exception to that. That is the entertainment industry. So you already have robo soccers and robo wars and going on. So every little new little thing that a robot is capable of doing, that will be appreciated only in the entertainment industry. Okay, so entertainment industry is where the money or the funding for AGI is gonna come. So, and by entertainment industry I mean it's not just video games and stuff. Video games are a proper thing. Video games can be a platform for AGI funding. But most importantly, I'm thinking robo soccer kind of thing. And then you have restaurants in Nepal, right? Those guys serve food with robo waiters that they created in the back end lab that they have. So they are maintaining this lab based on the customer's patronage. So the customer's patronage is helping create this AI lab. So I want to do something like that, similar in Chennai, and I think I have got the best idea to create AGI so far, which I've already mentioned. If you guys are technical, you would have gotten that, and you would have figured out how to go about building an AGI. But I'll tell you right now, okay? So yeah, I want to do that. I want to create an AI lab. I want to create an industry around it. Even if it's not just one lab, even from AGI to ASI, it's going to be a big thing. I mean, I have a problem with the way they have defined AGI. I'll tell you that in a bit. But at least, I mean, there's going to be a lot of funding required for this achieving super intelligence, that I know. But at least I want to lay the foundations for it by starting a restaurant where the purpose is to collect funds for AGI and ASI research, right? I want to create a chain of restaurants. So rather than having an IPL every day, as if humans are becoming more stronger and by hitting more runs or whatever, right? Humans are not becoming stronger; they are becoming very weaker by the day and things like that. So we're not. Why do we have to celebrate something that's pointless, like sports athleticism? I mean, we're not getting more athletic. We're just, our health is just dwindling by the year. But AI, if you just have an industry around AI, around robo wars or robo solvers and things like that, if you are able to get entertainment out value out of it, and then find funding for that through that way, that will be a good thing. So that's the whole idea of starting this cafe, right? So I will now tell how to, I will now say why you have to give your money to me. Okay, so you can take anyone, right? OpenCog or Demis Hassabis of DeepMind or whatever, right? Even Nason's, that guy Jurgen, the super villain guy. I mean, the guy is like a James Bond villain or whatever. I don't think any of them are doing it the right way, because they don't know what is the. Okay, I'll tell you what. See, first of all, they have not defined AGI the right way. It's like they've defined it as like most capabilities of human if a robot is supposed to do. That is what general intelligence is. But that's not it. We don't have to generalize intelligence just at the human level, but at least at the animal level, right? Even they have general intelligence. Even a small worm, I think there's already this open worm project and all that. Even a small worm does so many different things. It'll just find food, it'll try to fuck another worm, it'll try to go away from obstacles and fight enemies and get out of knots or things like that. It does so many different things, right? So general intelligence has to be defined based on what is the objective of an organism, right? So people don't know what is the ultimate objective for their artificial intelligence system. Say for example Siri, it's only about voice recognition, speech recognition, and then you have the NLP engine, and then you have the search engine capabilities that is querying the search and giving you the answers. It's pretty simple. It's only got one particular thing, and even the Atari playing games or AlphaGo or whatever, right? They only have one specific thing to score points and win the game, and so that's how they anything that improves their objective, they give positive feedback. Anything that is against the objective, it's a negative feedback, and that's how they have the pleasure in painting. Okay, but no one knows what the ultimate objective is, and I've told you what the ultimate objective is, right? So if we are just okay, this is the thing. The way we conquer artificial general intelligence is we just have to create a system for which the ultimate objective function is making an impact. Okay, so how do we measure impact? It could be something like measuring the what do you call this, entropy, or there could be other ways of sort of making up an impact. The good thing about neural networks of brain is they are not efficient, right? It's only just perceived impact or perceived thing. So there is bound for divergence. So what I mean is, if I say if I create a neural system and allow it to evolve into different regions and all, and then but ultimately I would sort of make it to derive pleasure out of making an impact, right? Out of that is out of increasing the entropy. It's not just going to increase entropy at all. It will also do other things. It will realize that okay, to increase entropy you first have to find other things. So other things come in with your object recognition. So that's what it will do, all these other things in the name of making an impact. It will learn to identify objects. It will learn to sort of process language. It will learn to move autonomously. It will learn to control its parts. It will learn to balance. It will learn to do everything, right? It will learn to hear. It will learn to sense. I mean, provided you give the right sensors attached to that particular neural network, right? And then you just have to allow it to evolve. You don't have to design every single region of the neural network by just copying everything from neuroscience. Ultimately, in the core functionality, you just have to sort of make it derive pleasure out of making an impact. Once you get that AGI system, you just have to connect a lot of neural nodes into it and then allow it to evolve on its own. So the feed forward network and all, it's all bullshit. All the deep learning, machine learning, deep learning stuff is not going to be useful here. So it's going to be a back and forth traveling of activation, just like how activation just stays in one particular region of your brain. It will just keep on staying in one particular region, right? So a neural network has to be similar to that. It's not a feed forward, any of the stupid things that they have right now. We can easily do it. It's not many things, and based on the activation, you have the head learning coming into picture, and then the connection weightage increases when there is more activation in between those two regions, and they get associated on a time-based thing and all. So all those things can be done. Okay, the only thing is how to give the bring out the proper pleasure pain mechanism based on uh, making an impact. So like I said, one thing is just to, just if the measure of entropy goes up, it can be designed as a it can be designed as a way to increase pleasure, and then it can be designed that way, right? So even other than entropy, there's so many things, other ways we can figure out what is impact and what is not. Okay, and eventually even the machines will figure out that even not just physical impact, even emotional impact becomes important for machines, just like how it has become important for all the living things. When we were just amoeba and worms, it was just only about physical impact. Now we've also given importance to language, emotions, and all those stuff, right? So eventually the machines will get there as well, but core has to be pleasure based on impact, creating impact and all. Okay. And then once you've achieved AGI, all you have to do is just simply sit and wait for quantum computers come in, so that we have actually proper capability to actual computational power to sort of process so many things. See, one good news is brain has trillions of neurons, billions of neurons, trillions of connection. But if we have to create an AI, an artificial neural network like that, we have to update so many connection weights and so many activation and so many other parameters every single iteration, every single time step. It's going to be a lot of computation things. So so only when the quantum computers get here, I think we can get to that super intelligence level. But the general intelligence level, we can do it. If you just create a system that is getting pleasure out of making an impact, and feel sadness or pain or negative feedback for a loss of impact, so that is your artificial general intelligence. Okay, the pleasure pain alone, that is the only concept that I'm just really just wondering. See, pleasure is also activation in one particular circuit in our neural network. Pain is also activation of one particular circuit in a neural network. So I just keep wondering, do TVs experience a lot of pain or do they experience a lot of pleasure? Because it's all just activation in a circuit, right? So I don't know how, yeah, that thing kind of annoys me. So just comes down to this, just one particular area getting activated is pain. It feels so bad, right? That alone, I'm just not able to fully explain it, because even if circuit getting activated is pain, there are so many other circuits around us which are getting activated, so that will also be pain. That's the only thing that's bothering me right now. But nevertheless, we don't have to go the human biological brain route, where you have pleasure and a very discomfortable feeling called the pain and all that. It can be as simple as that. Pleasure is something that just shuts down your output system, just takes away activation from it. Pain is something that is just activating your output system to cause a change in your state. Say for example, you take your hand towards a fire, right? You have to just do something to take it back. Your output has to change. So pain is a pain sensation should ideally cause a change in the output neurons, whereas the pleasure, it should cause the output state to remain in the same loop, or either just totally relax at all. Whenever you feel pleasure, you obviously feel relaxed, right? Say for example, when you have a massage, or when you have I don't know, when you're after sex, you're tired, and then you just totally you're relaxed, and you're just going to sleep, right? So that could be the thing. So pleasure is something that relaxes your output system, or rather no signal goes to your output, or rather no change of output signal goes to the output. Whereas a pain is where a change of the output uh, output neurons gets activated. So that could be the way the pleasure and pain thing goes. Okay, so this is the thing. I hope I have sort of convinced you on why we should just create AGI systems, even if ends as or things like that. So that's the best thing to do, I would say. And then I would say, to make it more interesting, to make your lives more interesting, come over to the Singularity Cafe in Chennai. Okay? Alright, guys, I'm gonna stop here. I'll see you at the cafe, and then we can discuss more. Okay? By the way, God is not there. Okay? Just get over it. Half of Europe is already atheist. And I know that religion is one of the important memes that you carry, but there's no God. That's just a stupid thing. So you just come here and we can discuss. Okay. All right. See you.